Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another gameplay slice, a video with the sole purpose to give you a good understanding of a specific part of a game or the game in general. Today I have for you Chorus, a totally underrated arcade space fighter with a great narrative. This video isn't sponsored in any way, and if you're interested in the game, I will leave a link down below. Let me tell you a little bit about the context here before we dive into one of the random side missions that we can just do so you get a better idea of this game. We are this spaceship, and more specifically we're the pilot of this spaceship. The pilot is called Nara, and she was once created by a dark cult. And this dark cult is basically destroying humanity, who's just living around on all these space stations over here. You see the planet, but you also see a lot of destruction, and part of that destruction was actually caused by me, by the protagonist. Because I have like Death Ray sort of powers, or I mean Death Star sorts of powers. And I used to be a sort of super soldier, but now we are on a redemption story. We're not doing this alone, we're doing this with our spaceship, and this is the spaceship that you mainly see in the game. The spaceship is also a sentient being, and not like, let's say, Marvin or something from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but an actual sentient being with a backstory and not just a personality quirk. And you develop this real bond between you and your spaceship. You do missions for your spaceship as well, so you are a team. By combining Nara and the spaceship Forsaken, you have basically a lot of power. You can use Nara's rights power, which are, let's say, for example, lightning blasts, or you can jump behind enemies so you can easily track them, or you can use the scanner like this thing. Now I'm just scanning half of the galaxy over here for points of interest, you say. I can combine those together with the arsenal of my spaceship. For example, I have laser cannons over here. These are the laser cannons. I have a regular cannon, if you will, and I have a bunch of rockets, which are very useful against armor, meaning that I have to take all of these abilities into account whenever I am fighting other spaceships. One of the things that I absolutely adore about this game is the whole ambience. This game, first of all, looks absolutely beautiful, I think. This is just such a nicely polished looking game. Another thing that's just great is the narrative. For example, this happens all the time, right? These people are constantly talking to each other. And it really gives you this sense of what's going on. And the bond between, you know, the pilot Nara and Forza, the machine, the sentient spaceship.
After all,
together we could be more than that.
perhaps, but we are not the same.
I do sense that you're somehow incomplete.
Sometimes, I think a part of me is missing. But what does it matter? I moved on.
Did you really?
And the last part that you saw over there, like the "did you really?" is the basically your inner thoughts that only you can hear and Forza cannot hear. So there is this triangle, if you will, between you, your spaceship, and your own thoughts. And it makes a very interesting narrative that I just enjoy quite a bit. In terms of story, it is pretty much a redemption story. We are about to go behind the cult, and there we are. Some cultists, and right, we're talking about them. So I'll show you a little bit of combat, and then I think we'll just dive into a random mission. There are plenty of these around. But now you can also see a little bit of the combat, for example, here. So we're in range. I can use my own powers, which was the lightning blast that you pretty much saw. And then I can use the ship's powers, see the cannon, to destroy the enemies. And these sorts of random events, they pop up all the time, so you don't have to get bored if you're flying from A to B. Sometimes you have to fly pretty large distances. Fortunately, you have a what should I call it?
We got them all.
Alright, well, we did it. I think we crashed into the last one, but you have some sort of like very, very good booster like this one. This makes you travel quite fast. So here we have, for example, a jump gate that we could go through. But I don't want to throw you guys in the middle of the main story because I've almost completed it. So instead of going to the jump gate, I think we will go fly through the galaxy a little bit and maybe, for example, go over here. Because this is something I haven't discovered just yet. So it's gonna take a while for me to get there, but it allows me to show you the world a little bit, and I'm sure we'll get 1 or 2 random encounters along the way. Something else that constantly just keeps popping up is these side missions. For example, there's another here, circle forces.
Let's surprise them.
So they haven't spotted me yet, but they will now. Right, that's one. So there's a lot of like auto tracking going on, but you also have to do quite a bit of things yourself. Like you need to dodge their attacks. And if you don't, you are slowly but surely going to die. Like this attack, for example, right? If I don't dodge that thing in time, I'm gonna take massive damage. You can do a quick scan to see where they are or where the last ones are. So I'm basically disabling them with my ability there. Alright.
So this is what called out to me. Good thing we picked it up.
And typically you get a bonus, either some credits or an upgrade for your ship. There are specific side missions that give you specific upgrades. For example, the rights, which is one of these things, is a right of mine, right? This massive long-range scan. But another one is this one. I can't proc it without an enemy. I have a few, at least, that is very useful stuff to do. And you can upgrade them by just doing a bunch of random missions. But you will have to go out and explore. If you don't fly to this Acunal Labs yourself, it's just not gonna really show up on the map in that sense. Like, nobody's gonna tell you to go here. You need to do this yourself. So every now and then I just pulse this sort of radar, and if something interesting pops up, which it doesn't happen right now, but you will find and see markers, either on the map or in the side of your screen. But no markers are popping up, so we're just gonna go over here. I don't really know what is here, so I've never been here before. It is one of the space stations. And this is pretty typical.
Scouting sector for targets.
Pirates. Let's take them on.
Alright, pirate forces, so we need to take those guys out. As you can see, or maybe you can see that, I'm not entirely sure.
So this is what called out to me. Good thing we picked it up.
But I can drift as well with my spaceship. So normally you wouldn't be able to do that unless there's some sort of advanced jet fighter that I don't know about. But you can drift in this game as you could with Mario Kart, let's say, or with, like, I suppose, any race game. So if I do this, for example, and the enemy passes me, I can do. Oh wait a minute. That's not what I wanted, sir. If I let me fly here again and try and show you. So for example, let's say I want to quickly turn around here. So I fly through this thing and then I can drift. And if anyone is following me, I can just shoot them right here. I think these moves really make you feel like you are controlling like a super advanced spaceship, and I've never really seen this before in space games in that sense. So yeah, I'm quite amused by this, and I think it's a great implementation. Offers a lot of interesting options as well when you're doing the fighting. So this is pretty typical. We have reached the space station, let's say, and there is a distress call. This happens all the time. So let's talk to these guys.
You requested backup?
Carter kept his word.
So we will accept the mission, of course.
All right, we'll keep the cult at bay, but hurry.
Got visual. Circle vessels.
And these missions, they're quite varied. Like sometimes you need to defend people, sometimes you need to pick up a bunch of cargo, sometimes you need to do other things. We will do our missiles here. So we just completely disabled this ship, that's why he can't do anything. So you might think that combat is like really easy, but I am pretty far into the game. So it may look a bit easier than it is because I've upgraded my ship and everything. Combat is typically rather challenging, especially if there's a lot more of these fighter ships around you. They're gonna be hitting you quite a bit. You see to the top right, I have a shield and I have regular health, which I both need to take care of. I have one heal like every 3 minutes that I can use, but that's about it. Are there more?
How's your progress?
Oh, there are more.
Some more to go. It's highly volatile material.
Weapon tech?
Weapons? Yes, of course.
Full. Impact.
But overall, you know, I think this is very enjoyable combat. And still quite challenging. I mean, it's not as easy as it may look, because I've been playing this game for about like 10 hours. So by now I kind of know what I'm doing. And like I said, I've unlocked quite a few powers already. So for me, it's not that difficult anymore. And I know most of these enemies as well. So I know how to deal with these guys. But this guy, for example, see, he's dropping a bunch of mines. And I'm about to die there. Yeah, that was pretty close. If you're on low health, the enemies start dropping some health as well to help you out a little bit. But this guy, you see, he's just dropping mines everywhere. Pretty problematic, actually. And not only is he dropping mines, he's shooting mines to me.
More cult forces incoming.
Okay.
Here.
So it's getting a little hectic here, but just a few more of them, I think. Let me try and disable this guy first, because this is like the mine lay ship. We really don't want to deal with that nonsense. Okay.
Hit them hard.
There's another.
Fight on.
Okay, is that it? I think so. So then you can typically talk to them again. Oh, was it not it? Time to take off 1 second.
I got your back. Just go and don't stop.
We won't. Taking off now. You saved years of hard work, invaluable research. All humankind is indebted to you. We left a reward for you at the station.
So we got a bunch of credits,
Nara,
which is always great.
I only detected organic materials aboard the ship. I don't think they were weapon engineers. They lied.
And it worked. Admiral Cardo sent them help.
So his reputation encouraged them to lie.
He certainly encourages desperate measures.
Now you don't have to necessarily look into the map either if you want to explore space a little bit, because you can clearly see where some of the structures are. Some of them I've already explored. Like I'm pretty quite far into this game by now, around 10 hours in, and I'm about to face the final boss. I'm not gonna spoil too much about the story in case you want to play this game yourself, especially if you like what you see here. But yeah, suffice to say, I'm pretty far in, meaning that I've explored most of these things. But typically, you can just fly anywhere. Everything you see is reachable, and most of these structures are worth scanning because they may have still some goodies left behind. Now you see friendly ships and these kinds of things all the time, and there's just quite a bit of life within this system, which I think makes it feel more realistic and feel more alive in that sense as well. But there's not much left here, at least. So I think what we'll do is fly towards a regular spaceship. Oh, there's more stuff going on.
Fighters are on hyperdrive since the rift appeared. They hail it as some kind of favorable omen of victory.
Because they don't grasp its true meaning. This rift will consume all that we know if it continues growing.
Then we must keep on fighting with everything we have. There is no other choice.
Never has been.
Something else that you might notice, this is by the way some sort of like speed travel tunnel. These things give me a boost.
Got a moment?
Like these people, they could just keep on talking.
Realized who I am.
And normally if you're just playing the game and you don't hear me talking on top of it, it's quite engaging, I would say. And it really adds to this whole idea that this is like a live environment and there are real people in this game and they have like real issues that you need to solve. Everything is voice acted and very well voice acted, by the way.
Your acts and name as a rallying cry. At least their ignorance gives us some cover to finish our preparations.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's very good. This is probably the place where I can enter my ship into the hangar, which allows me to show you a few other aspects of the ship. So, here we are. I have accumulated quite a few credits because I haven't visited the hangar in quite some time. The upgrade systems that you have, they are not super extensive, but I think that is good. It kind of fits the game. This isn't Elite Dangerous or anything like that. This is more of an arcade style game, but focusing, like I said already, on the narrative. I can't really do too many upgrades, I don't think, anymore. These are still locked. It means that I need to progress the story in order to get better. This prevents you from creating a completely overpowered ship. In terms of lasers, you have some options. I started out with this and then upgraded to this and then to this. And now I have the shredding claw. These are also typically upgrades that you get from your missions, but there are definitely some choices. For example, I have the war beam over here, but I could upgrade to the blaze ray. I hardly ever use the laser though, to be honest. The missile, on the other hand, I could definitely upgrade a little bit more. So here it starts to do more hull damage and less shield damage, but that's fine because you want to do hull and armor damage because that's why you use it. I can remove the shields anyway with my lightning blast. And this thing is really amazing. So reload speed is horrible, but it's otherwise completely fine. And it's probably the max DPS that we can currently get. So I'm gonna upgrade this. And then you have 3 more slots that you can do. You have defensive slots, you have weapon slots, you have powers and utility. You should see this as sort of supplemental components that you can put on your ship to just boost one or the other thing a little bit more. For example, I have the level 3 deflectors, which gives me 35 additional shield, which is useful. But you could also say, well, you know, I would rather not have shield, I would rather have a stronger hull. And so I am buying the electroplated. Or you want the less shield cooldown so that it recharges faster. All of these things are an option for you. And it kind of depends what you want to be doing. So you can do the micro reactors so that your lasers are easily charged. You can do capacitors that you get your right energy up. So these are, you know, my special powers from Nara itself. And utility can also be very useful. So if you look at the last ones, this is the ship's basic flight speed by 30%. Could be extremely useful. It boosts faster, so that's like the turbocharger that I have. Destroys shields 25% faster and exposes enemy hulls faster. So all of these things are quite useful. There's one more outpost that we can have a look at. I think we'll do one more mission and then we probably call it a day. So you hopefully have a better idea of what this is about. The main story is a really good story, I will tell you that. I'm not gonna spoil the actual thing, but I will tell you it's a great story. As you can see, everything is voice acted. May have already told that, but it really adds to this whole idea of this thing being alive, and it just adds a lot of immersion.
Nothing left. They took it all.
Let's see if that's true. You detect anything?
Despite what the signal says, there is equipment behind this barrier field. Why would they lie?
To keep away looters?
Yet here we are.
Alright, we will continue
Let's find a way to
investigate.
shut the barrier field off.
So this is yet another outpost. There's plenty of these outposts and I need to figure out a way to shut off this barrier. Now that's typically done by, you know, just killing like a battery or something like
They
that.
defended this generator
See?
Successfully. Nobody damaged it.
until we arrived.
It's not gonna be this easy, I don't think. Maybe, but that would be an exception. Normally these missions are definitely a little bit harder.
It is empty. But
There we go.
It must have been an echo from the past. There's a memory.
Right, this is another sort of narrative component in the game, echoes. You can go into the past and temporarily see what is going on here.
Cardo ordered everyone to turn over all their equipment.
And what about after the war? We'll need this to rebuild.
Not everybody here gave freely to the Resistance. Defenses.
Let's look at this memory first.
We should bring it with us.
Honey, the Resistance has enough. We'll need it later. Come on, we can't be late reporting for duty on our first day.
They were willing to risk their lives for the Resistance.
Useful.
Alright.
Their behavior appears contradictory.
They were worried about their life after the war.
Then they should ensure the war is won by contributing everything to this goal, including their equipment.
That's what we're doing.
Yes?
It's nothing. Just thinking. A life without fighting.
Inconceivable.
Right.
Alright, it's just a small investigation. But useful nonetheless, we got 2300 credits out of that. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is Chorus. I hope you had a good idea about what this game is about, and if it gets you excited, just click the link down below. I have the Steam link for you, and that is pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, that always helps out quite a bit. And I hope you had a good time. Thanks for making it to the end. See you soon. Love you all. Bye bye.
Do you know Admiral Cardo?